morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, April 1st, April Fool's Day, although it's been April Fool's Day all year, I think. Finally getting out, gonna go for a surf. I've only been out maybe once per week, trying to keep my distance, not hanging out, all that kind of stuff. Basically like my walk in the park, or my, these days, walk around the block, right? So, actually, San Diego just released some more information breaking down COVID-19 cases per zip code. So, and it turns out, of course, in Oceanside, my zip code has the highest one. And I don't think it's from people going surfing. I mean, I could see people at the markets being way too close. From what I've seen people walking and exercising. I've seen bicyclists still going in small groups, right up on each other like they always do. So I definitely see a lot of people visiting other people and that kind of thing going on. So I don't see people truly, keeping to themselves, and I see people, hugging and shaking and all that kind of stuff when they're clearly not from the same household. So everybody stay safe. I'm taking a chance here. I got to go to the market. I've only been going to the market once a week, and this last run's actually been over a week. So we've been doing our best, not going out for takeout food, not going out for pretty much anything, right? So we've been quarantining anything that comes from Amazon or in the mail. That stuff ends up sitting to the side for a couple days, and then even then we unpackage it fairly safe and remove everything. So we've been super sterile in terms of this hunkered down situation. And we basically have 4 people in our household, 2 kids, 1 at risk, a child with autism. He's 12, Zachary. You've probably seen him on some of our videos, some of our pics here and there. He loves to swim. He loves the beach. It's really hard for him not to go and for me not to take him. And same with his little brother Kanoa, who's only 3 years old. So my wife has been at home. None of those 3 have left the house in, 3 or 4 weeks. So it's been quite a change, and we've sacrificed definitely on the maximum end in terms of keeping our distance and not visiting with people and not attending things, even from before they started asking people to do it. So I'm trying to get my exercise here. I'll stay away from everybody. Usually when I change out, I go right in my car, do that real safe. You might have seen my last videos about that as well. So I'm going to keep that practice going on. I'm not shaking hands, I'm not getting close to anybody. So I'll try to keep my sprays from under 7 foot. That way anybody in my path is clear. So that's my promise to you guys, or maybe that's my limitation that you guys already know about. So anyways, just wanted to keep you up to date. I passed by the wave pool right now, or the construction site. I didn't see any action going on. That's the first time that I haven't seen any action going on a weekday there since this whole quarantine started. The last time I went out for a surf, that was probably about a week ago, a little over a week maybe, and they were still working. There were still a few trucks doing their thing. So I was a little surprised at that. Construction is still allowed. I think they're tightening that up though, right? Because you would think it should only be construction with more urgent requirements, where there's something dangerous happening or has happened at a structure. So that's that on the wave pool. And I looked at the camera and I see kind of some people out there, at least earlier. I'm coming out a little later, so I'm hoping that some of those people are gone and not there. But definitely people, a peak can only handle so many people. So same thing, I think that one peak should probably have between 6 and 10 people max, and that means that everybody's still got to be 6 to 8 feet away from each other. And to make that happen, everybody's gonna have to play real nice. So hopefully I'll see that happening. If not, I'm gonna go down the beach and just try to take my own peek. Oh man, there's bicyclists right there. I just saw 2 of them. So this is going to be my only surf this week. I think the forecast shows some better days. Well, I shouldn't say better days, it was bigger days coming up on Thursday and Friday. But I'm going to go ahead and pass that up and just stick it to once a week, which is actually quite a bit lower than my usual weekly surf frequency. And yeah, I was just looking over there. It looks like there are some waves to be had. Not huge, but it's actually looks like the right style of waves, especially for me. So everybody, I want to say thanks again for hunkering down. If you're not visiting the beach from other cities, thank you so much. Our community appreciates it, and there will be waves for you when everything opens up and becomes a little more safe down the road. And that is your update from the surfing doldrums. So I pulled up, and basically the meters are now shut down and you have to park even farther away. So definitely it's closing more and more down. So I just want to give you guys that update. Hey everybody, just got done surfing. Went pretty well. I had to park pretty far. I brought my sandals so I didn't have to touch the grimy floor all the way to the beach. Just hoofed it down. Where I went to, there wasn't that many people. There was a handful of heads. Everybody was being pretty cool, pretty chill, little space. Not as many people where I was out at, but down the way there was probably more people than I think should be there, although they had some spacing as well. So where I'm parked at right now, I gotta say, if I'm gonna keep it real, there's two different groups of young men, I don't know, teenagers or kids in their 20s, I can't tell anymore their exact age, but two groups of them, separate cars, they're all just intermingling like it's any other day. Pretty sure they're not all from the same household. Just a couple cars over from me, there's a couple grannies. I mean, these ladies got to be in their 70s, and you know, I hear one of them saying, "I'm not scared of getting it," and these two ladies obviously don't live together either, and they're just hanging out like any other day, not worried about it. So I mean, there is, you know, a really big gap, and in terms of attitude, and so, you know, it is a bit of a bummer because what you have going on is you have people that are coming to a place, and then, you know, they could probably be walking by their house if they want to be, you know, not as safe, but then you have people who are not that safe who come to places where there's just going to be more people. So I don't know, you know, what the deal is with younger people and older people, but you know, that's what's going on, is that, you know, some people are just not really following the rules still. So you know, that's how it is. That's how I see it. I'm going to keep it real. If you go online, Instagram, Facebook, I mean, especially Instagram, you know, there's all kinds of battling going on between surfers out there. I mean, it's a trip. I mean, you know, you got people on far extremes. I mean, this is more, you know, contentious than, you know, the past years of political debates in terms of people just going at it. People saying, don't leave your house at all. Some people saying, you know, go surf, it's just as safe as walking, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, there's some people who are in the middle ground. I'm probably more in the middle ground. And, you know, I think at the same time, I think there's a lot of people, I mean, honestly, I witnessed it firsthand. There's a lot of people who are preaching that, you know, don't go anywhere at this point. And, you know, some of those same people, those are the people that are still getting their takeout food. They don't really understand, you know, each business has their own etiquette or their own, you know, their own oversight, right? So people are still going to get takeout all the time. People are, you know, going outdoors doing stuff, and yet those people are quick to, you know, point out other people who are doing something. So, you know, I think people have to be really honest with themselves about how much they're leaving, how much they're really cooking their own food. And I think, you know, people aren't really keeping track of that, and definitely are willing to overlook their own desires, if you will, before you know, the guidelines and suggestions that are laid out, and in some cases directives now at this point. So you know, surfers out there, man, be chill. Everybody's got a different situation. Sure, you know, if you don't live around the beach, maybe it's not the best idea to bring your germs to the beach and intermingle and add to the population that already lives there. If you're a beginner, I saw 2 or 3 beginners out there today. I mean, they probably have only been surfing, you know, less than a couple of years, so they're falling all over the place. You know, surfing is just as dangerous as other things. So, you know, if you're a beginner surfer, man, my personal suggestion is you probably shouldn't be out there surfing right now, because you're already probably more prone to accidents, not strong swimmer. You have enough hazards as it is, and then so if somebody's got to save you or do something, or you're in somebody's way and cause an accident, this is probably just not the best time to be learning. So if you're a beginner out there, man, surfing's for everybody. I encourage everybody to learn. I always hoot and holler for the beginners out there in the world, but man, this is not the time to be getting in the mix. So, beginners, I know you're gonna be mad at me. I think that you should not be out at the beach right now, and that goes for a variety of other people. Like I said, if you don't live in the local area, there's probably 3 or 4 things you can probably think about why you shouldn't be out there. So I just want to be real about that. Everybody be cool online, man. Share thoughts, share ideas. There's got to be a solution for surfing. Surfing is just as good of a sport as walking and bicycling and all these other things. So we got to work with our local officials and cities to make sure that we keep some surfing going. Maybe open up some of the other places that we could, but do it in a smart way, like we're talking about, with everything else we're doing, right? So, if you see 3 or 4 people, 5, 6, 7 people, 10 people at a peak, paddle over just a little bit. Go to the side. Wait till it clears out a little bit. I think that, between the lifeguards, the police, and surfers, who typically a majority of them are pretty conscious folk out there. So, I think between all those people, we can all do the right thing, stay safe, and surf. Maybe just lower the frequency of your surfing, pick the right times. Man, the weekend is still probably too many people. So if you're at home like a lot of people, picking off time. Pick the afternoon, pick the end of the day, pick a time when there's not going to be 100 people out in the water. Do yourself a favor, do other people a favor, and that'll probably work out best for everybody. So, peace to everybody out there. If I have a different opinion from you, there's no offense to you, and I just want to, extend that surfing vibe, keep the vibe alive, and man, get your stoke at home, however you got to do it.
Music. Sweet music. Island life and the vibe is right. We're dancing in the street till the morning light. Sweet music.